MK16 would start at page, paginated 310 in that bundle. Thank you. Let's start with MK16. If you look over leaf, it's dated the 11th of November 2024.
Correct.
Yeah. And if you just like cast your eye at page 516 of the file 3 that you have opened, the referral that is dated the 21st of November 2024. So let's follow the events sequentially. And I think you did reference this document that is marked MK16, which is a letter signed by, it would appear, the Chief of Staff, Ministry of Police, Mr. Ngabinde, and it's directed to the investigating director, yourself. And it shows as a heading, referral and request for investigation in terms of Section 27 of the National Prosecuting Authority Act, Act 32 of 1998, read with the National Prosecuting Amendment Act, Act 10 of 2024. You confirm receipt of this letter?
Of the MK16?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And this letter purported to refer to your office, complaint by Mr. Adams, a member of parliament, and concludes over leaf with the following statement: Honorable Fadil Adams was advised by this office to await your decision in this regard. You see that?
I see that.
Now, kindly inform the commissioners what you did upon receipt of this letter.
This letter came to us by hand, and it didn't have any attachments to it. I looked to see if we did even reply to it. I can see the letter come in, but we don't have a response to the ministry acknowledging receipt of this letter. And it is afterwards that we got an envelope that was delivered to the office with the 27.
No, we'll get to the 27.
Yes.
For the moment, let's stay with this letter.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you act upon it?
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Did you act upon the letter? There is a specific request there to look into the complaint by Mr. Adams in respect of the cases listed there. And, as I say, at the end, to inform Mr. Adams of your decision. Mr. Ngabinde says, Honorable Fadil Adams was advised by this office to await your decision in this regard. So I want to know, upon receipt of this letter, what steps did you then take? You have clarified that you cannot find a response to this letter, nor an acknowledgement of receipt.
And could not act on this letter because there were no attachments to it.
No, what you're being asked is that last paragraph says, Honorable Adams was advised by this office to await your decision in this regard. And the question is, having received a letter from the ministry, what did you do? Not did you institute an investigation? Was it a letter sufficient to act on it? That's not the question. The question is, you have correspondence directed to you. I assume you do not just file away letters when they come in, especially where you are told that the complainant is awaiting to hear from you. The question is, what did you do? Either you did nothing and filed this away, or you did do something about it, and you have to say, what did you do?
What I would have done, and that is why I'm saying I cannot find it, we would have acknowledged receipt of the letter. And that is as far as I would have been able to take it, because there was nothing to do. There wasn't anything attached to this letter for me to be able to act upon it.
That's not an answer. Surely that's not an answer, Advocate Johnson. You cannot just acknowledge receipt and then keep quiet. How will the ministry know what your issue or problem is? Why not raise it with the ministry that I'm not able to do anything with this because, as you put it, there are no annexures to your letter? Why do you just acknowledge and then fold your arms and do nothing? That escapes me.
Not do nothing.
You've just told us, thus far, sorry. Thus far, you've basically told us that you did nothing. All you did was to acknowledge receipt of the letter.
Yes.
What did you do then if you did do something? What did you do?
I honestly cannot remember. I have to cast my mind back to, in the acknowledgement of the receipt of the letter, I speak under correction. I'm not sure that I asked and indicated that there was nothing attached to this letter, because a few days later, by way of envelope, we get the Section 27.
He would have been told to file a Section 27. I mean, he didn't make it up. He didn't wake up one morning thinking, oops, I have to put in a Section 27 affidavit. So someone would have advised him to file that. That's why it's important to know, what did you do, what did you say in that acknowledgement of this letter? You must have said something before we get to, you then received an envelope.
And the acknowledgement would have been typed from an internal computer. Surely you have that letter in your possession or a draft of it somewhere in the computer, and it can be made available to the commission.
We have looked for it. I'm going to ask them to look for it again, because I also have to apply my mind. I can't, that is why it sounds like a fumbling answer, because I can't recollect what I would have written over and beyond. We acknowledge a receipt, and in all likelihood would have alluded to the fact that there is nothing there, because it talks to this envelope coming with the 27 a week later.
But you see, speaking for myself, Advocate Johnson, the answer you've just given now creates an impression that a draft of this letter was deleted. That's why it's not available, because you use a laptop to draft a letter, and then your PA, I assume, would have then either printed it from that computer or emailed it to you. And if you are happy with it, you would have appended your signature, and it would have gone to the minister's office. Now, if you're saying we have looked and it's not there, the question is, what would have happened to that draft, unless somebody deleted it so that it is no longer available?
And maybe to correct what you've said, this letter doesn't say, here's a copy of an affidavit. It says a copy of a written correspondence addressed to the minister. So if it lacked anything, it was the letter which Mr. Adams addressed to the minister, not an affidavit. You still have, you're not on suspension. You have your laptop. You are able to check this and give us a copy of your response, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And I will look for it again. I will have the PA look for hers again. We did try that exercise, or we did do that exercise, not try the exercise. But if you give me till lunch today, we'll go back. I'll ask the IT, perhaps, Advocate Maga, if we could just engage with the IT to check through the email correspondence of both myself and my PA. It could have been I drafted a response and emailed to her, or she would have an emailed to me, so that we are able to give the commission a full account.
From what you're saying, so it means the letter should be in both your inboxes.
Should
Your PA's maybe on your side, if you send to her, it will be on your sent items, and then in her inbox. If she drafted it and sent it to you, it's in her sent items and in your inbox.
Correct.
So again, going back to what Commissioner Kumalo said, it's unlikely that it would disappear
No.
on both ends. That's just unlikely. Do you agree?
Correct. And if I may, just one point of correction is there are times as well, Chair, where I would type a document, print it myself, sign it, and then hand her the hard copy to distribute.
Yeah, I was
just for purposes of clarity.
You are correcting yourself, because what I suggested to you now was based on what you had said, which was you sending or she sending, or he, because your PA could be a he, or she, yeah. So I was basing it on what you had said, but you are correcting yourself and now saying it could be on one end only.
Correct.
All right, okay.
Sorry, there was a question by Commissioner Baloy that got lost in this engagement, which was how else would Mr. Adams have known to contact IDAC and prepare Section 27 affidavit? Did IDAC contact Mr. Adams and say, we need an affidavit from you? Because this is 13 days later, so the minister's letter is the 11th of November. On the 21st, so it's about 11 days, 10 days, Mr. Adams then has this affidavit. I don't know how it gets to IDAC, but how did Mr. Adams know that he must do a Section 27 affidavit for IDAC?
Mr. Adams would have had to be contacted by IDAC.
Following upon receipt of this letter, IDAC contacted Mr. Adams.
IDAC could have had to have contacted him, yes.
Who did that? Who contacted Mr. Adams?
In this instance, it would have had to have been Chief Criminal Investigator Perumal.
Do you know for a fact or don't you?
I did, that's why I say it would have, in all likelihood, would have been Chief Investigator
So
Perumal.
you don't know for a fact?
I don't know for a fact.
But why do you think him?
Because later on, the engagements with Mr. Adams were with Mr. Perumal and the other investigators. We would not have then sent people that have not already engaged with him.
Sorry, Ms. Sello,
Indeed, Chair. No.
it was your question we took over. So
No, it's following, these are follow-up questions to the question I had asked, so it's they flow from the question. I'm happy.
Yes.
Please,
Please
Chair.
go ahead. Please
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Can I ask on the back of that, your response, the way that I've understood your description of how your processes work, it's you get a Section 27, you then discuss it with, you take a view, you then discuss it with Mr. Sissoko, you give it to him to then take his own view, the two of you agree something, and after you've agreed that there is an offense in this referral, you then refer it to the team, right? That referral to the team, who in particular does it go to from you and Mr. Sissoko? Who does it go to? When you say we then refer it to a team?
The office would usually call the project manager to hand over the document, and then it goes then into the team for the deputy and all of them to work through the document.
So is Mr. Kale a forever standing project manager? At that point, it's you and Mr. Sissoko. When does a project manager get appointed to be responsible for this now?
It depends which team you're sending it to. They have standing project managers.
So there was already a team to which you referred yours, and I'm going to call you the intake committee for now until you have that discussion with Ms. Sello and the rest of us. But for purpose of our discussion, you are the intake committee. You've made a decision. is there a project manager already at that point, or do you then proceed at that point to appoint a project? I'm just trying to understand how you then process it from that point. And we'll come back to the question about who contacted Mr. Adams.
There are 4 project managers in the office. And when you allocate a matter to a team, that team already has an existing project manager. So it is, the project manager may have been there because of other matters. And like I said, for example, that team deals with the Transnet matters under Mr. Manilal. So when we gave the matter to Mr. Manilal, the project manager who's been in that team is Mr. Tlale.
Okay. Now, if Chief Perumal is the one that contacts Mr. Adams following this letter, where does he get that from? This is Chief Perumal. Where does he get it from that he must contact a member of Parliament Adams? Because at this point, there's no Section 27 yet that has come in. So that process of you and Mr. Sissoko hasn't yet happened. Nothing has yet been referred to a team or to a project manager and team. How does Chief Perumal come into it after you've received MK16?
I speak under correction. When Mr. Sissoko is not there for me to ask or request that he engage with somebody, it would depend who's acting in his place, and I need to check if Mr. Perumal was acting at the time, or we also have Chief Criminal Investigator Lusanda Boy, to whom we would allocate. It might be on that basis that he was therefore approached to deal with this matter, because we would need an investigator to be able to interview Mr. Adams.
So for Chief Perumal to have been the one, of Mr. Boy for that matter, whoever you have appointed, but for now you say you think it must have been Chief Perumal, for him to contact Mr. Adams following you receiving this letter, because at that point that's all you have,
yes,
you would have had to say to him, I've received this letter, contact Mr. Adams.
That is correct, Chair.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you, Commissioners.
So at that stage, neither Mr. Sissoko or whoever else was involved. It was you, and you directly said to Mr. Perumal, contact Mr. Adams. No involvement of Mr. Sissoko.
No, because we haven't had the 27 yet.
All right. I'm asking to be sure, because earlier when the same question was asked, you mentioned Mr. Sissoko, you mentioned somebody else, and that just confused issues. So, all right, thank you, I understand.
Thank you, Chair. So then, just so we understand where we are at, you've now received MK16. You indicated that you did not refer to an investigation, because it did not have attachments. But we know from the letter itself that it had written correspondence addressed to the Minister of Police. What attachments did you consider were lacking that made it, the absence of which made it difficult for you to act on this letter?
I only have these 2 pages.
Ma'am?
I only got these 2 pages.
Let's go to that, the very letter. It reads, in the first paragraph, attached here to please find for ease of reference a copy of written correspondence addressed to the Honorable Minister of Police, Honorable Senzo Mtunu by Member of Parliament, Honorable Fadil Adams.
Yes.
So you say you didn't have?
I only had these 2 pages that you have here, page 310 and 311.
Please say that again.
I only had these 2 pages.
Oh, the 310, 311 is the
310
page,
and
yeah.
311, yes.
So, did you go back to Mr. Nkabinde and say you forgot to attach the written correspondence between the Minister of Police and Mr. Adams, which you had kindly offered for ease of my reference. You didn't do that.
That is why I'm saying we need to look for the response to this letter, where I would have acknowledged the letter and in all likelihood would have asked for that which is short, attached, please find a reference. I would have asked for the written correspondence.
But definitely you recall you didn't have that correspondence attached.
I recall I didn't have that correspondence.
You then, as you testified, you instructed Chief Perumal to be in contact with Mr. Adams to obtain Section 27 affidavit.
That is correct.
Now, I want to suggest to you, so effectively, IDAC solicited a Section 27 affidavit from Mr. Adams.
I tell you now, when you look at the 27, we didn't take the 27. They would have contacted him, and I guess this is what we got. I speak under correction. Mr. Perumal would have to answer what he got from Mr. Adams, but what we got was a 27 dated the 21st of November, 2024.
That's fine. My question is, that document you're holding in your hand, IDAC solicited it from Mr. Adams. You received a letter from the minister. You then directed Mr. Perumal to act on that and contact Mr. Adams and
Ask him for his...
ask him. So you solicited a Section 27 affidavit from a would-be complainant.
I don't agree with the solicited.
Ma'am?
I don't agree with solicited. We would have asked him. Because, you see, I'm going into the detail that's not mine and not in my head, and I don't want to sound like I...
It's yours, Advocate Johnson. You are the one who gave an instruction to Chief Perumal to contact Mr. Adams. So Ms. Sillo's question relates to that. That has nothing to do. Mr. Perumal would then have been the actor on your instruction. That's where the question is. It has nothing to do with what Mr. Perumal then did down the line. So please do not deflect the question and refer to what Mr. Perumal would have done or not done. Can you please respond to the question?
Then we would have obtained the statement.
At your instance, that's the substance of the question.
That is correct.
That's what Ms. Sillo means when she says to you, so you solicited the affidavit, because what came out of your instruction that please contact Mr. Adams was the submission of the Section 27 affidavit. So it's on that basis that Ms. Sillo is suggesting to you, you solicited that affidavit. Do you now agree?
I agree.
As you sit here today, is that appropriate of IDAC to be soliciting complaints from members of the public on the basis of which then IDAC initiates investigations?
No, we're not supposed to solicit. And that is why I'm saying I tell Mr. Perumal to engage Mr. Adams. I don't know if this was a prepared affidavit already. It was to say to him, we received a letter from the minister. We are engaging you. So whether this was already prepared or not, at the time, we got this affidavit.
Okay, so then you recall when we're looking at MK16, the last sentence in MK16 before the signature by Mr. Ngabinde states, Honorable Fadiel Adams was advised by this office to await your decision in this regard. So it's fair then to conclude that your decision that you communicated to Mr. Adams is prepare an affidavit, Section 27 affidavit, and submit to IDAC. That's what you must have advised Mr. Adams based on your testimony.
That is what the advice would have been.
Okay.
Just on something you said in response to Ms. Silo's previous question. You touched on the possibility that, not stating it as a fact, that the affidavit, you do not know whether the affidavit had already been prepared at the time of your instruction to Mr. Perumal. Did I understand you correctly?
That is correct, Chair.
No, that's not a fact. Look at that affidavit. It's dated 21 November 2024.
Yes.
And the minister's letter
Is
is the 11th of November 2024. So there was no prepared affidavit. I thought I should just put that out of the way. That's something you must accept, correct?
I hear what the Chair is saying.
Yes. All I'm
Yes.
saying is, let's forget about the possibility of an affidavit that could already have been in existence between the time that you got the letter from the minister and the time that this affidavit was eventually submitted to IDAC. That's not a possibility.
Correct, Chair.
We do see the correct facts here. Thank you.
So the upshot of all of this is that the referral to IDAC was by the minister's office. And following that referral, IDAC then made a decision to engage with Mr. Adams to obtain an affidavit from him.
It follows, Commissioner, yes.
And thank you, Commissioners. I suggest to you that you did that because you knew as ID that the minister's letter does not constitute a Section 27 referral. And IDAC decided to cure that deficiency. If we look at Section 27, it says the complaint must be on affidavit. So you knew that the minister's letter would not be sufficient to trigger your mandate. And you sought to cure that shortcoming. I'm trying to flight Section 27, if you have it close by. There, it's on the screen. You see Section 27 states, if any person has reasonable grounds to suspect that a specified offense has been or is being committed, or that an attempt has been or is being made to commit such an offense, she may report the matter in question to the head of the investigating directorate by means of an affidavit or affirmed declaration. You see that? And you're quite familiar with Section 27. You nod. Please articulate
yes,
your
sorry.
response. Thanks.
Yeah.
So because you read the minister's letter and you saw the difficulty that it would not trigger your power to investigate, you contact Mr. Adams through Mr. Perumal to cure that problem and to provide a Section 27 affidavit.
Yes, as the minister refers, referral and request for investigation in terms of Section 27, but there isn't a Section 27 there. And so by virtue of what you're saying, we had to go ahead then and get a Section 27.
Why?
Because there is no 27 that is referred to us through that letter.
Please go to MK 15 and look at the correspondence that I understand that you received attached to the letter by Mr. Ngabinde. And MK 15, I would like to refer you to page 28. Let's start at 282, but then in particular, I would like us to have regard to 283 and 284. From our records, we are aware of an email to the minister at the bottom, starting at the bottom of page 283 of MK15. And from Mr. Adams, if you look over leaf at 284, and in that email, having stated what his issues are at 5, he states, I urgently and humbly ask for the minister to intervene and ensure the integrity of investigative process is maintained to ensure a fair and just outcome. You see that? Do you see where I'm reading?
Yes.
And then if we go back to 283, then we see communication from Mr. Ngabinde to Major General Sebola, referring this complaint and requesting that a report be filed with the minister or the minister's office by Monday, the 4th of November. Now, if the email at page 283 at the bottom from Mr. Adams reflects a complaint as reflected in sub 2 at the bottom of the page. He said, to Minister of Police 1, I have opened cases, you see that?
Correct.
And if we go to 2, he says, I was told that the dockets were intercepted. And then in his quest for justice, he says he would travel to Gauteng to open dockets. However, I've also been notified that the Gauteng Police Department has followed the same modus operandi as the Western Cape and is interfering in the investigative process. I urgently and humbly ask for the minister to intervene and ensure the integrity of the investigative process is maintained to ensure a fair and just outcome. So my understanding of this email is what Mr. Adams wanted was that the investigative process of the cases, the dockets he had opened, the integrity of that process be maintained.
Correct.
You understand, you have the same understanding as well. Now, assuming for a moment that this is the communication that was attached to MK16, the letter addressed to you, what in this would trigger your mandate? Remember, in your affidavit, you set out your section 7A of the NPA Act. You do so at paragraph 8, page 3 of your first statement. And you do quote the Act that your mandate is to investigate serious, high-profile or complex corruption, commercial and financial cases that sub A, sub B relating to additional related offenses or categories of offenses, including, and then it lists, and then at C relating to additional related statutory offenses or categories, including contravention of specified acts. If we take MK16 and we take this communication that I suggest was attached to that letter, what in these documents triggers your mandate in terms of section 7A? Do these documents reflect a serious, a high profile or complex corruption, or a serious, high profile or complex, however that is read? What about the contents of those documents bring this within the mandate of IDAC to justify your initiative to direct Mr. Perumal to go obtain a Section 27 affidavit?
If this was in fact the document that was attached, it doesn't trigger.
And if that document wasn't attached, it's even worse, because the MK16 itself gets nowhere close to Section 7A on its own without this communication.
There's the two possibilities. If
Yes,
this was attached, the only time that it would have triggered anything however, I have been notified that the heart has followed the same as interfering in the investigative process. That might have triggered looking at whether or not there was defeating, but I can honestly tell you I can't recall this document, so it cannot have triggered IDAC's mandate.
Are you referring to the emails now? When you say this document, are you
sorry,
referring to MK15, the emails?
The 283 and 284.
Pages
MK
283,
pages,
284.
yes.
That's the emails.
The emails, yes.
You are referring to a document singular, but Ms. Silo's question, as I understood it, was referring to both the emails and MK16, which is the letter from the minister. So don't leave that out. What about that letter? From that letter, do you see anything that triggers IDAC's mandate?
Sorry, let me just go back here, Chair. I don't have it straight off my head. Chair, if that was attached, and when you look at paragraph 2,
Starting with what
the
words?
allegations
Yes.
contained therein implicate very senior members of the South African Police Service and are viewed in a serious light, and case dockets were registered as, and due to the nature of the allegations made by the Honorable Adams, which is deemed to be quite sensitive and which contains allegations of criminal conduct, the office requests the investigating director to consider investigating the same.
That says nothing. That says nothing altogether. We do not even know what those allegations are, whether serious or not. That basically says nothing. And if I were to refer you to one of your own statements, I think that's your second statement where you were required to respond to issues about the docket which you are alleged to have shared with General Khan. You had, in respect of that issue, the ability to say this is vague. It doesn't say when, it doesn't say by whom, it doesn't say, and you went on and on to demonstrate that it was vague. That same thought process by you ought to have applied here as well. There are so many whys, how, by whom, when, about what exactly. There are so many of those. If you are able to apply that thought of process or that kind of reasoning, why did you not apply it here? It's on that basis that I say this says nothing at all. So by parity of reasoning, in accordance with your own reasoning, when you concluded that what you were being asked was vague, why did you not see this as vague as well? It says nothing, I suggest to you. Do you agree or not?
It may say nothing in there, it refers to the dockets.
So you are happy that it says nothing.
It doesn't make out any allegations.
Exactly, exactly. Now, go to section 32 of the NPA Act. And please tell me when you are there. 32.
I am there, Chair.
Do you see that in subsection 1, that is section 32(1), there it's stated how you are to carry out your functions, and that is amongst others without fear, favor, or prejudice. And what I want to emphasize here is without fear. And then in subsection 2, that is section 32(2), the oath of prosecutors is actually set out there. You do see it, eh?
I see that, Chair.
It also captures the same words, without fear, that is, you will exercise your functions as a prosecutor and you happen to be a senior one at that. So you will exercise your functions as a prosecutor without fear, favor, or prejudice. Again, I emphasize without fear. Now, if you accept, as you have just done, that there was nothing whatsoever in the minister's letter, what stopped you from writing back to the ministry and saying, we do not have a Section 27 referral, therefore, we cannot do anything about this. And you did not even have to go to the content of the letter. But because there was nothing in the content of the letter that should also have given you comfort as a prosecutor that I do not have to follow up on anything here because there's nothing. You have accepted that there was nothing. Why did you not write back to the minister and say, in the absence of a Section 27 referral, we as IDAC cannot do anything? So that it would then have been the ministry that saw to it that a Section 27 referral was placed before IDAC. Why did you not write such a letter? Were you fearful of the minister?
Not at all, and that is
Why then did you not write such a
that is why I
letter?
said, Chair.
Sorry, you
Sorry.
spoke over me. Why then did you not write such a letter?
That is why I said, Chair, we'd have to look for the letter that the response. What did I write in my response to the minister?
But
I
surely,
don't think that I got a response.
sorry. But surely, that letter could not possibly have said, Minister, we are not going to do anything about this because there's no Section 27 referral, because that would have been at variance with or at odds with you instructing Mr. Perumal to follow up with Mr. Adams. So that letter, even if we were to look at it, it's not likely to have said what I'm suggesting you ought to have done. So do you think that letter is going to assist you?
I'd have to look at the contents.
Do you think it's going to assist you as you sit there, seriously? Do you think it's going to assist you?
Not at all.
It cannot possibly do so. It cannot possibly do so because such contents would have been, as I say, at odds with the instruction you gave to Mr. Perumal. You agree?
I agree, Chair.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Can I just follow up on that? And I want to make a proposition to you that when you look at the letter from Mr. Nkabinde, as you agree, it says nothing. It says, I attach a copy of written correspondence from Mr. Adams to the minister, not to you. And then it gives a list of cases. It says allegations contained therein implicate very senior members of the SAPS and are viewed in a serious light. And case dockets were registered, and he gives you those case dockets. And then he says, due to the nature of the allegations made by Fadil Adams, Honorable Fadil Adams, which is deemed to be quite sensitive and which contains allegations of criminal misconduct, this office requests the investigating director to consider investigating the same. And then the last is, you will advise him what you're doing. You'll advise Mr. Adams. Now, for you, the proposition that I want to make to you is for you to instruct Chief Perumal to speak to Mr. Adams. You must have had sight of these emails for you to form a view that there is possibly a matter that falls within our Section 27. You must have looked at MK 15 to 82. Otherwise, your decision doesn't make sense. That just on MK 16, you say to Mr. Perumal, speak to Mr. Adams. When 16 says nothing, as the chair says, it doesn't allege what crime it speaks about. Allegations are sensitive, doesn't tell you anything. So you don't know whether they're talking about theft of a notebook on MK 16. Could have been anything. So it cannot be. And I would be surprised if you acted on MK 16 to say to Mr. Perumal, speak to Mr. Adams, so that we can get an affidavit from him. That conduct of yours to say to Mr. Perumal, to Chief Perumal, speak to Mr. Adams, makes sense only if you've seen these emails and you've seen that there are allegations of interception of dockets. As you were starting to say, that the email seems to speak to corruption of sorts. You have to have seen this. That's my proposition to you, that you must have seen these emails by the time or before you spoke to Perumal, and that's what informed you saying to Mr. Perumal, speak to Mr. Adams. What do you say to that?
I can't disagree with you, Commissioner Baloyi.
Thank you.
Sorry, let me just follow up on a response you gave when I engaged you. So in the end, you accepted that you could not possibly have written a letter to the minister saying there's nothing we can do in the absence of a Section 27 referral. So you accepted your letter could not possibly have said that. I asked you, did you act in the manner in which you did because you were fearful of the minister? And I thought your response was in the negative, correct?
Correct.
If you were not fearful of the minister, why then did you act? What motivated you to act in circumstances where there was nothing in the content of the letter from the minister? You were not fearful of the minister, as you suggest, but you still went ahead regardless and gave the instruction that you gave to Mr. Perumal. What motivated you? What was the motive behind your action? If it was not fear of the minister, what then was the motive for you to act in the manner in which you did?
Is to follow up on, is there a Section 27?
Is that all you asked Mr. Perumal to do?
That is all, because there's a reference to a Section 27. There is no Section 27. Mr. Perumal to contact Mr. Adams to find out if there's a 27 or to get a 27.
Did you say this before, or are you saying it for the first time? If you did say it, I may have not heard you. What I'm referring to as to whether you are mentioning it for the first time now is whether your instruction to Mr. Perumal was for him to find out if there was a Section 27 referral. Did you say that before?
No, Chair, I didn't say that before.
You are saying it for the first time now. I would have expected you to say that much earlier, but I will leave it at that.
I'm reading again.
Sorry?
Sorry, I was reading again and going through what it asked.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Advocate Johnson, sorry, one last one. Do you see that as far as the minister is concerned, his letter was the Section 27 referral? Because if you look at the heading, they say referral and request for investigation in terms of Section 27. So as far as the minister was concerned, this is the Section 27. So the appropriate answer from you would have been, this does not comply with Section 27. That's the end of the story.
In fact, to add to that, nothing in this letter leads you to Mr. Adams. As Commissioner Khumalo says, it is the ministry that is referring and purporting to refer in terms of Section 27. And if you were going to ask for a Section 27 affidavit, it is from Mr. Nkabinde that you ask for, because he's the one that's purporting to refer. It doesn't direct you to Mr. Adams. The complaint has been laid with them, and Nkabinde says, I'm lodging a Section 27 complaint. And you have no business, at least on the basis of this letter, to go to Mr. Adams for a Section 27 affidavit. You go to Mr. Nkabinde for a Section 27 affidavit. You say to him, this is not a proper referral. If you want us to investigate in terms of Section 27, as Commissioner Kumalo says, give us an affidavit.
I read it differently, Commissioner Balo.
How do you read it differently?
It says referral and request for investigation in terms of section 27. And he does make reference to the Honorable Fadil Adams. We don't have anything from Fadil Adams. And so the request to Perumal to get a section 27 from Fadil Adams is based on the referral and request for investigation in terms of section 27.
Mr. Nkabinde is asking you to investigate. Mr. Adams is not asking you to investigate. He has not communicated with you. He hasn't. Even on the version which you, on the proposition that I made to you that you must have seen the emails that he sent to the minister, even on that, he's not directing anything to you. It is Mr. Nkabinde. He raises his complaint with the minister. That's what he does.
Yes.
The minister's chief of staff lodges with you a complaint, and he calls it a section 27 complaint. The only reference he makes to Mr. Adams is to say, we've received, the minister has received a complaint from Mr. Adams. Please investigate. And I refer this to you in terms of section 27. So the person that must give you the affidavit is Mr. Nkabinde, and it's not apparent why you thought that this is a complaint to IDAC from Mr. Adams, because it's not a complaint from Mr. Adams to IDAC. At this point, it's not.
I see where you're going to, Commissioner Balo.
It's like this,
But
Advocate.
sorry. Do you agree? Do you agree?
I agree with her interpretation, yes.
Thank you.
It's like this. So Mr. Adams writes to the minister's office. He's unhappy about the 4 dockets, and he asks the minister's office to intervene. So the minister's office has at least 3 choices. One is the inspectorate, the other one is IPID, and the other one is IDAC. So they have those 3. So far you are with me. You agree?
I agree.
Based on the nature of the allegations, as vague as they are, they have those 3 options. The minister's office then picks one, and they say, we pick IDAC. And we will do a referral to IDAC in terms of section 27 of the NPA Act. It's not Mr. Adams who says, I choose IDAC. It is the minister's office, based on what we see in this letter. Do you agree so far?
I agree so far.
Yes. And they say, as far as the minister's office is concerned, the allegations in the correspondence by Mr. Adams, they regard them as quite sensitive. That's the minister's office. And they contain allegations of criminal misconduct. That's the minister's office. They then say, this office, that is the minister's office, this office requests Advocate Johnson to consider investigating the matter. That's the last paragraph on 310. So do you see that it refers to this office being the minister's office? Do you see that?
I see that.
And it is the minister's office that is asking IDAC to investigate.
Correct.
Yes. So the request is by the minister's office. And they say Adams was advised to await Advocate Johnson's decision. A decision on the request by the minister's office.
Yes.
Do you accept that? Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. If I could just add, and what the minister's office requested IDAC to investigate is the alleged interception of the dockets. That's it. Not the allegations set out in the respective dockets. That was never the request to you. Do you accept that?
I accept that.
So if you understood the request to be an investigation into the alleged interception and interference of dockets opened by Mr. Adams, that surely should have been the confines of your investigation, whether or not dockets were opened and intercepted, whether there has been interference with the dockets, regardless of the content of the dockets. Because otherwise, you would have been investigating what you were not requested to investigate. Would you accept that your investigation would have been that narrow, would be looking into the interception only?
In terms of this letter, yes.
Yes. So we then, if we look at the emails at 283 and 284, that is consistent with what Mr. Adams complains about in his emails to the minister. It is the interception. After tea, perhaps you will shed light on having solicited the Section 27 affidavit as IDAC did. How do we end up with claims of Kumalo Lushaba Madondo siphoning money from the secret account fund, with cover-ups of General Lushaba's incident, with the appointment of a lady working at BMW in a sensitive post? How does that fit into the request, specific request made to you of interception? Why is Mr. Adams's affidavit not confined specifically to the complaint he had laid with the minister? Was that at the instigation by IDAC? It can only be at the instigation of IDAC. So there's Mr. Adams' complaint of interference, and then there seemingly is a parallel investigation attached to that complaint initiated by IDAC. Is that where we are at?
I'm going to come back to you after tea because I'd have to speak to Mr. Perumal about what he spoke to Mr. Adams about and how we arrived at this.
No. You will come back.